Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
He is indeed.
He is indeed. And Nick is here. Oh, he is here. Morning, Nick.
No, I'm not here. Sorry.
Yeah, you are here.
Okay, fine.
I guess Gal will join us later. I didn't hear anything. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by Vmix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Nice day outside. Finally, a weekend without rain.
I had to set up my poor man's sprinkler system because my
Yep.
grass in the front, I can see it's starting to get a little dry. Oh,
Yep, I did the same thing yesterday.
yeah.
Had to. So what's going on?
Windows exploits.
You came back from
Oh yeah, I had
a nice cruise.
Yes, it was a wonderful trip. Unfortunately, it made me spread it out over 3 weekends, which I couldn't help. It's just it was a 12-day trip. Well, with the transportation, days of transportation and going in a day early. We sailed out of Southampton in England and went all the way around. It's called the British Isles tour cruise, and it was cool. Stopped in Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and one last stop in France before they came back. And just wonderful trip. And had some technology issues. And you wanted me to talk about, right, that experience I had with
Sure.
Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have an iPhone 7, which has just turned 2 years, just before I went on the trip, and I've been having battery issues where the phone would be charged up, working okay. It would drain faster than normal, and if you check battery status, it said that it was like at 85% capacity, and that might consider replacing the battery. But it would go from down to about 55% and then suddenly turn itself off. And there was nothing you could do. It was literally less than 10% battery charge left. But if you plugged it in, it would charge extremely fast. Like you plugged it in, and within 5 minutes, it would be 25%. And within 10 minutes, it'd be back up into the 50%. So something was really wrong. But it was okay. I was dealing with it. And I actually had a little portable, one of those little stick power packs that I kept with me. And towards the end of the trip, I had to keep it plugged in my backpack. So the phone wouldn't die. I was using Verizon's Europe mobile plan, where if you turn it on that day, you get 24 hours for on a day charge by the day setup, and it worked good because it was all over. We were in all different cities, but it just got so bad. And I did try to find an Apple store in one of the smaller ports, and they had an authorized dealer, and they said, "Yeah, we can fix it for you. Take about 7 weeks." Oh, really?
Just stayed.
Yeah. So finally, I was waiting to try to be in a place where I could actually go to an Apple store, and we were in Edinburgh, Scotland. It was a day where we had on your own. So you didn't have an actual tour. They just dropped you off and you walked around on your own. And like 3 blocks away from where they dropped us off was the Apple store. So I went in there and they were great. I signed up with the guy in the front. Within 10 minutes, I was upstairs with the Genius people and they looked at it. Oh, we can replace your battery. It's great. It's 49 pounds. It's the same. It's in the US, it's $49. And she's looking at it and she opens up, takes it out of the case, says, "Oh, your battery has swelled up. Can't fix this. We can order parts for you. We don't have a US phone." When she said parts, I misunderstood. I thought they were going to still try to open it and fix it. And they can't replace. They don't work on phones where the batteries have expanded because of the lithium, the danger of lithium contamination. So even if they, even if I wanted them to help me, it would have taken them 2 or 3 days for them to get a suitable phone. So I just gave up even using the phone because it was just too inconvenient. And I got back home and made an appointment for the Apple store on Tuesday, and they replaced my phone for 49 bucks. No questions asked.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because I talked to Aaron, my son used to work for Apple, and he said, yeah, that's one of the long-term policy, never changing policies that if you have a swelled lithium battery, that they will replace. I'm not sure how far back they'll go, but they will replace it because it is an environmental hazard, and batteries shouldn't swell.
Well, but
You
these
know?
things, I mean, this is ridiculous. You were doing something wrong to cause the problem. Apple products just work.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? I took it out of the country, and it didn't like it.
Oh, no, no, no. They're
And it's
made to
like,
go out
wait
of
a
the
second,
country.
this isn't the right country. I'm going to get all swollen.
They're made in China. They've already been across the ocean.
Yeah. No, actually, they make them in
I
China, and they fool
There's no
them into
problem.
thinking they're in the US.
You really need
Yeah.
to rethink your approach here.
But
Yeah, Alan is
yeah,
saying so maybe it has something to do with humidity, pressure.
it could
Uh,
be.
yeah.
See,
That
it's
may
Yeah.
always blaming somebody else.
But it's not an uncommon thing. I went online and found all kinds of people with the same problem.
Liars.
So it's probably a material thing. I remember having years ago the Logitech Harmony all-in-one remotes. They were the programmable remotes with a touchscreen. It was very advanced. If you had a fancy media system in your house, you could program it to do all kinds of stuff. And I liked it, but it was really complicated and hard to get people to use it because it was just you had to switch through screens and you created scenes and scenarios. But the point was the battery swelled up in it. And I called Logitech. They sent me another one. No questions asked. With anything to do with batteries going bad, apparently, depending on the vendor.
I have one brand new still in the box and never used it.
Harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And the one I had was the first generation, so it was a little tough to
I'm sure mine is.
figure out. The new ones,
no.
I understand. I think Gall, don't you have a Harmony remote?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have two actually.
yeah.
So
Good morning, God.
good morning. Sorry for being late.
So anyway, one big piece of news for those of you that don't update, don't upgrade, don't want to go to a newer operating system. Last week, Microsoft took the unusual step of releasing security updates for unsupported but still widely used Windows operating systems like XP and Windows 2003, citing the discovery of a wormable flaw that the company says could be used to fuel a fast moving malware threat like the WannaCry ransomware attack of 2017. So if you still using XP, you need to, I doubt it's going to do automatic updates. I would think that you would need to log in somewhere and download something. I did not try to research it because I doubt we have anybody here that does that.
I wonder if you'd be forced to use your Microsoft ID. Some people that are using XP have never been challenged, never been asked to use it. I wonder if in this
Yeah,
case you would have to
interesting.
go and use your Microsoft ID. Hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, and Nick, I was talking about non-supported. What is that? The new tech switcher,
The TriCaster?
the TriCaster. What are they going to do when Windows 7 is no longer supported? What
Well,
do people that bought them?
they don't. It's not a regular computer.
Right.
There's plenty of embedded pieces of hardware out there that have Windows 7. Those devices are typically very locked down and are and
So it's okay for them to keep on using it.
but
That's my
is it
point.
okay? Yeah, of course. I mean, what are you gonna do? Throw
Yeah.
away your
Right.
$35,000 video
Right.
switcher? I mean, yeah. But
Yeah.
those are pieces of hardware in which you don't browse. You're not supposed to browse the internet on. You're not supposed to be downloading programs.
Right.
They're very locked down pieces of device or pieces of hardware. Now you
Mhm.
can. I mean, I had TeamViewer installed on mine, which was against their terms of service and actually voided our warranty. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you're not supposed to use those devices for
For
stuff outside of
anything.
that application.
Right.
Yeah, because it is a risk. You're talking about there's the TriCaster Studio uses Windows XP.
Wow.
Now it did come out in like 2010 or something like that. But yeah, that uses Windows XP. Or this TriCaster I don't know what it's called. Studio. It's standard definition. Widescreen, but standard definition.
Yeah, and they actually just took Windows and stripped it down to
Yeah, I mean it's no different than like an ATM. And you're
so
talking about a
yeah,
very specific piece of hardware. I mean, there's
for very specific
yeah, but it's
task.
not just TriCaster. I mean, you look at the reason a lot of those devices run Windows is because of DirectX, which for the longest time was one of the was just the graphics. The way to do graphics and display things was DirectX.
Mhm.
That's why you see gaming on Linux be as complicated as it is because there's no DirectX support. A lot of things run off DirectX. I think they're up to DirectX 12, and that's why a lot of devices run Windows. But now you're seeing other things like Caspar CG and other devices starting to use Linux, and it makes more sense because they can run whatever distro they want, lock it down, dependencies. They don't have to worry about all that crap.
And
Yep.
as you mentioned earlier, Nick, a lot of these devices are hardened, purpose-built platforms that are very expensive. And why? I always love it when you go into a store or an airport or something. You look at this giant display and you see the flashing at the bottom, either a cursor or you see Windows XP logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why change it? It's like you said, if it's on a closed network or not even on a network, why would you worry about it?
Yeah, and I'm sure that and these things takes now let me answer your question here, Amnon, a little bit better. Are these things vulnerable? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The amount of new tech TriCaster TC40s in the wild are very small, and the likelihood of those specific devices coming under attack are probably pretty small.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, you've got a limited user base, and they're not devices that anybody can just pick up from the store. I mean, these you're talking
Right.
their baseline unit starts at I think $22,000.
Well, Nick,
So
now that you mentioned it, there's going to be a TriCaster hackers forum that's going to pop up
a good on them.
somewhere.
You're
Yep.
if you buy one of those,
4chan is going to be just loaded with people trying to get into
if you buy
TriCaster.
those, you kind of deserve it. So
Yeah.
what can I say?
And remember, Spence, you're talking about if it's not on a network, if it's not, the TriCaster is on the internet
Of course.
because it streams. So,
Well, you don't have to
it's
stream with it.
that's true. Yeah, I
But you're
guess
right.
most people don't actually, right?
Well, there's a lot of people that do. I
A
mean,
lot of them
for
do
example,
production.
the one that I purchased and had set up when I was rebuilding the TV studio in high school. That's where we streamed from. Now, am I mean, no, I really don't have any concern about a device like that. I think it's a
Yep.
now, I would say this, I hope, and Newtek's got a reputation for this. I'd hope that Newtek put in the R&D and and really did lock down the device instead of just setting Windows uh, firewall to on. I hope they actually did do some things to harden down the device. I think it would be um, very, I don't know what word I'd use for it. It would be
Irresponsible.
irresponsible is the perfect word to use. It would be very irresponsible if they didn't have some type of hardened security built into a device like that. Because you're talking about a very expensive device that, and you're right, doesn't get updated. Who the hell can afford to drop
Right.
$65,000 every? I don't even think their current ones are on Windows 10.
No.
I'm sure they don't.
I wouldn't think that they would go the length to do that even.
Well, no,
New
because they're
tech.
still selling the ones that they're selling
Yeah.
now. The new TC unit, I graduated in 2015. It was out or probably from 2013, maybe 2014, when they were built and designed and developed. So, but they do have the devices like the Talk Show and other devices that I'm sure do run Windows. Maybe though that might run Linux, but that run Windows. Yeah,
Yeah, they should downgrade them to
and they
CPM with DirectX 12.
Well, I'll say this: they may push out security updates. There are updates for the
Yeah,
TriCast.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you don't do updates. I remember I did, I think, 2 sets of not software updates because they have that as well, but there are TriCaster updates that I did. And yeah, you go to you Control Alt Delete, and you can boot into a desktop instead of the software, and there's there's an FTP uh, little FTP service that allows you to view all their downloads, and you go in there and download the update.
Yep.
So I'm sure they've got. I would hope they've got it locked down.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean, a company like that would not
Well, hey,
they would not play around.
well, you don't know until they get hit. I mean, you would
That's
think
true
that.
too. Yeah,
I mean, you'd think that
but
we
again,
saw a lot of big companies get hit. I mean, look at even VoIPO a couple months ago, 8, 10 months ago. You'd think they wouldn't have that stuff public and able to be hittable. You just
um,
don't know.
I saw something in the chat about going away from Windows and Microsoft and all that. Uh, there is another article from last week about Linux and desktop. It's from Mark Shuttleworth. He's the founder and CEO of Canonical. And he came up with Ubuntu and all that. He summed it in a few words. He says, I think the bigger challenge has been that we haven't invented anything in the Linux that was like deeply, powerfully ahead of its time. He also said that in the free software community, we only allow ourselves to talk about things that look like something that already exists. Then we're sort of defining ourselves as a series of forks and fragmentations. He added that it seems the desktop Linux people want to be angry at something. We want to do amazing things with Unity, but the community won't let us do it. So here we are, the way that it is, just sits there. He also commented that he commended Google folks for doing what they have built for Chrome OS. Um, they're trying. They're trying to bring Linux to the desktop. Um, if the average user is going to switch, then the average user is going to have it as easy as it is with Windows, and that's what's not happening. It's a chicken and
I,
the
I,
egg sort of.
how can you do it?
You
I can
can. I'm sure you can. If you
I can
put
tell you exactly
But
what the
you'd have
problem
to
is.
have everybody agree.
yes,
the
that's the
problem.
problem. That's one of the problems. Go
I don't
ahead,
think
Nick.
you have to
Yeah,
have everybody
go ahead.
agree. So while Spence was out gallivanting in Europe, right? I was doing the specials.
Yeah.
And Spence has been doing those what, Spence? 20 years you've been doing specials?
Yeah.
I didn't why is not a single Linux, a big Linux company like not Red Hat specifically, but a company like Red Hat, why are they not marketing a Linux-based laptop at any of these freaking stores? I mean,
I
There's your
think
problem.
they looked at that at one point. I seem to remember something about them talking to a vendor, and it just was they're not their support model.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
they're
they
not.
make
That's the
their
problem.
money by customizing their distributions for specific companies, and that's keeping them real close.
Yeah, but I mean, when my grandmother or mother or father can't walk into a store and buy a computer with the operating system, you think they're gonna go and burn a bootable ISO USB stick? I mean, and there's not a chance in hell. That's just never gonna happen. So of course they're never gonna use Linux. And I'm not gonna go through the burden of installing it for them, but then I'm gonna have to deal with it all the
Yeah,
time.
the only people that I know using Linux are the ones that I set it up for them
Of
on
course.
a really old machine because all they want to do is browse and maybe they open a Word document. That's it. So
Oh, yeah. Well, but that's the thing that if you don't have what you're used to on the computer, then and you can't run the programs that you like, you're going to stay away from it. Now, it would be great if everything worked off of a browser. I'm talking about everything, because at that point you don't need Windows. Oh well, you still would need it because some of the apps out in the cloud will require it, but you would have a browser in Linux, and that's it. You do everything. So
I mean,
today, say it again.
we're getting there. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know, but it's just taking. It's so excruciatingly slow. I mean, it can happen real easy,
yeah, one of the
and
things I problems I have with like the Linux distributions I use is like LXLE or something like it's very simple, small, works great on older platforms. Is it comes with Firefox, and the Firefox updates that are available for that are kind of behind. Um, some of the new things that Firefox has done, they're catching up, but they're not in the forefront. And there's really, unless you go out there looking for another browser, um, I know that Chrome is available, but I have never installed it for somebody on one of these platforms.
Well,
Mm.
first of all, try giving a good hard look at Arch, because the reason I'm saying that is I've shifted from Ubuntu-based, Debian-based distribution to the Arch Linux, and for me, right, and this is for the technical, on the technical aspect, it comes bare bone, and you basically by a few package management commands, you install what you need, and then you have a system, right? Uh, there's no wizard like Linux, like Ubuntu. It's a lot more primitive, but there are scripts that you can download and that do some of the work for you. But what I found was it is very, very, very easy to define the slim system that you want, very robust, and I can't explain how, because Arch Linux is pretty late to the game compared to the big distributions that were out there before, and compared to smaller but well-established distributions that were there long before, like Slackware and stuff. Arch Linux has this very, very active community around it. Everything keeps updating in a similar pace or even a faster pace than the other distributions. So um, and there's no concept of a monolithic upgrade. There's no version changes, and I find that really refreshing. I'm running my true not a, well one of the system is a desktop actually. So I'm running one desktop and I'm running two servers like this, and I I I, I love the ease of use, the ease of configuration. Linux has advanced tremendously. Now, on the desktop side, what Amnon said, you already have that. What you don't have is what Nick described. You don't have buying a computer, from the store with Linux on it, with a telephone number to support it, that does not exist yet. So it'll be only small IT shops that set it up for their customers. That's when you'll see more desktop users, but those are rare, and that doesn't exist. It's still a do-it-yourself, roll your own
Mm-hmm.
world.
And
It
be
is.
limited.
That's why it's limited. It's
Yeah.
not limited in any other aspect.
But Amnon made a really good point earlier, and I think we glazed right over it. He said, well, people still need to run Windows applications. I disagree.
Okay.
First of all, if they really want, right, we have that as well, especially with KVM and QEMU, right? That's possible to run an actual Windows behind the Linux if needed.
Oh no,
Right.
that's not what I was talking about.
I know. You want the applications to run. I understand that, right? And if you take a good hard look at LibreOffice or OpenOffice, they work. They work terrifically well.
They work, but they
You don't-
still go ahead.
You don't need to look at LibreOffice. You can use if you use Office 365, you've got Word and Excel and all of those built into the web browser. That's what I'm getting at with this. With all of these, with Google Drive and all of the Word documentation and things built into it, it's the same thing with Office. I would make the argument that a lot of people now don't even use programs. They're using their computers exclusively as a web browser.
I doubt the people who pay for Office 365, right? I doubt they don't download the application and use the downloaded version.
I use the downloaded
There-
version at work as well, but I've got my laptop. I don't have Office installed. It's just I don't need it.
But wait, here's my question.
Mhm.
Can you use your Firefox on Linux and use Office 365
Yeah.
in the cloud?
Yeah.
Nothing needs to run on your local computer
No.
that requires.
No, but the web version is stripped down. It's not as complex and
most
as
most
enabling as the
Yeah,
big,
most people that use Office don't use Word with all they don't write books. They don't do sophisticated. I mean, it's a spreadsheet to
No.
open and do simple stuff. Yeah,
So
these are
let's not focus on just Office. I'm just
Right.
saying in general. I think with what Google has done with Gmail and all of the Google Pictures and all that stuff, with what Office has done with Office 365 and the rest of it, the dependency on the OS is probably the lowest it's ever been because so many people are using. Think about what you use. Amnon, you're not a good use case because you use a lot of specific programs. But Spence, how many programs do you actually need to run on your computer? Programs, not websites, not whatever, programs. I don't run many besides video games and video production stuff. Everything else is web. It's just not necessary. So that's a great push for Linux.
Mhm. Well, I mean, like you said, we're getting closer.
Agreed. I think we're very close.
It's and when it happens, it'll happen kind of like bang. Some company needs to come up with and say, okay, you know what? We're going to go that route. Let's do it.
but there
And
was one. Remember Lindows?
yeah,
They tried that. It's
yeah, but when was that? That was years ago. They
the
tried.
approach was always flawed. I don't. It needs to come from a big company. I remember Lenovo selling some laptops with Linux on them, but never in the stores. Right? It could be a special order.
Yeah, HP.
Dell
yeah.
does. And do you remember there was videos? Have you ever watched that YouTube video of like a newscaster in California? Some lady ordered a Dell Inspiron and it came with Linux and it didn't connect with her internet and there was all these problems. Some local news station did a story about it. That's the problem. Nobody knows how to support it. As you
Yeah.
said, small Linux shops. But I mean,
Yeah.
what good is that?
Well, it will happen. It will happen. I mean, not in my lifetime, but in yours, Nick.
Well, it'll happen
Yeah,
if there's
who
a
knows?
reason for it to happen. That's part of the other key with this is there
Yeah.
needs to be a reason to switch to Linux. If you're
Well,
why
look-
right now would I switch to Linux? What would be the benefit for me?
Because of all the problems with Windows.
Well, what problems with Windows?
Well, I mean, come on.
Do you tell me there's not problems with Linux? I'm trying to install a package at work for a project I'm working on that's running on Linux, and I can't figure out what freaking I've tried 100 different revisions of this dependency to try to get this damn thing to run. I've been doing it for 3 days now. So I mean, there are huge problems on Linux just like there are on Windows. Flawed documentation. I mean, there's a whole bunch of issues.
Okay, so things like that needs to be solved. Yeah.
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 And it will, but there's still going to be I mean, for as many problems I have with Windows, there's just as many of the same problems with Linux. They
Right.
don't
And
force
it
updates on you, but then
and true. I mean, most of the problems are because of vulnerabilities. And Linux is less vulnerable, but only because, again, because of the same situation why the Apple products were less vulnerable because they were not used as much on the desktop. So once there is everything is desktop with Linux, I mean, hypothetically, then those guys are gonna figure out ways how to break into your desktop and into your computer and do the same thing that they're doing now with Windows. So yeah, I don't know.
there was some iPhone malware this week, wasn't there? It was an app.
There's always a little bit here and there. Which one are you talking about?
There was some messenger app.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that. What was it?
Um,
Oh shoot.
yeah,
It
I'll
was
find it. But there was one of the big messenger app. It wasn't WhatsApp. I think it was one of the other ones. Um, was was tagged on one of the stores as malware. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's happening is the Apple iOS is becoming more and more used. People are going and buying the iPhones and the iPads and all that. And now those bad guys are saying, let's go that way and we can do something to
It
get
was
some
WhatsApp.
what?
It was WhatsApp.
Okay.
Let's see here. WhatsApp said on Tuesday that a security breach on its messaging app had signs of coming from a government using surveillance technologies developed by a private company and may have targeted human rights groups. WhatsApp, who's owned by Facebook, notified the Department of Justice, and apparently they pushed out an update. But I mean, there you go.
Yeah, the thing that I have here about this is a recent vulnerability in WhatsApp shows that there is little defenders can do to detect and analyze iPhone hacks. This has to do with the detecting stuff on the iPhone. Some iOS security experts say that this is yet another incident that shows iOS is so locked down, it's hard, if not impossible, to figure out if your own iPhone has been hacked. The simple reality is there are so many zero-day exploits for iOS, and that came from a security research that specialized in iOS. And the only reason why just a few attacks have been caught in the wild is that iOS phones, by design, hinders defenders to inspect the phones. As of today, there is no specific tool that an iPhone user can download to analyze their phone and figure out if it has been compromised. In 2016, Apple took down an app made by Esser that was specifically designed to detect malicious jailbreaks. So they locked it so tight that there's no way to figure out whether you are infected or not.
No way legitimate.
Right.
You can still
Yeah. Right.
jailbreak
You
and
can
run
do.
whatever
Yeah.
you want, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's police state tactics, right? There's no
Don't.
trouble because nobody's reporting trouble. So
Are you saying that Apple is a police state?
Well, that might all be changing because somebody was given the right to continue on with a class action lawsuit against
Yep.
Apple
Yep.
over it's over what the use of their own only using their app store to install apps. Is I think that's what it's over. Um, so that might all be changing too.
Yeah. It says a group of iPhone owners accusing Apple of violating U.S. antitrust rules because of its App Store monopoly can sue the company, the Supreme Court ruled last Monday.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court upheld the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeal. Sorry, Mike, I'm talking your language, kind of. Decision in Apple versus Pepper, agreeing in a 5-4 decision that Apple app buyers could sue the company for allegedly driving up prices. Apple fine drawing does not make a lot of sense. Line drawing does not make a lot of sense, other than as a way to gerrymander Apple out of this and similar lawsuits. This was by Brett Kavanaugh.
Hey now.
Apple had what?
Said hey now.
Apple had claimed that iOS users were technically buying apps from developers, while developers themselves were Apple App Store customers. According to an earlier legal doctrine known as Illinois BRIC, indirect purchasers of product don't have the standing to file antitrust cases. But in today's decision, the Supreme Court determined that this logic doesn't apply to Apple. So they're opening the door for people to sue the App Store and Apple because they are causing a situation where you have to uh, pay more. I mean, I really don't understand. This is nice for people that don't know anything and they can go to the App Store and they think that everything is clean, which we found out it's not. And if it's not, why not allow people to download from anywhere they choose, like on a PC?
Because they lose the monopoly.
I know.
Well, nothing. I mean, by the way, in my opinion, nothing will come of this. But
I don't know.
it's definitely interesting. I mean, it's very similar to
No,
the Microsoft case. What
don't say
in the
nothing will come
90s?
of it. A few people will get a few bucks for their when they sue, right?
Well, possibly.
There'll be some what's it called settlements, right? But
Uh,
nothing. I agree.
Substantial.
Nothing
Nothing
will
substantial.
change for most users.
Except lawyers got a lot of money.
Oh yeah, lawyers are
that's right.
always.
Freaking Mike.
That's it.
Oh.
It's a great system.
He's not going to let us in on the gravy train.
Mike, I'd like to sue Apple. Will you defend me?
You can't win.
Well,
They've never done anything wrong. They're every product they've ever made still works. They've never had a mechanical failure. They've never
Right.
had an electrical failure.
now
All these people out breaking phones and blaming Apple. No, I wouldn't sue Apple. I mean, that's ridiculous. You got to have a case. You have no case. There's no such thing.
all right, Bill Handel. So what was the Microsoft issue in the 90s? It was over IE coming packaged. That
Yeah.
was the antitrust issue, right?
Right. They said that they force people to use IE. That
Yeah.
was
Well, then maybe there is something here. Who knows?
oh,
It is a pain that there's not available. For example, you've got a service like we haven't talked about them in a while, Gab, but because the Apple Store has deemed them as uh,
is whatever.
hate speech,
Yeah.
they can't publish their app. Now on Android, the Android store has also flagged them as hate speech. Now, fortunately for Android users, you can go to their website and get the APK. Alex Jones is in the exact same situation. Both stores have deemed him as hate speech. Android, though, you can go and still download his apps. So, you know, but I don't. I just then Apple loses control.
Yeah, there's more than that. What's it called? The Android, it has an app store called Aptoid. Uh, you download it as an external application, and then you have an app store that hooks you up to pretty much everything you can get on the Play Store,
Mhm.
but not going through the Google ecosystem, and it keeps you updated with all the stuff. You can assign Aptoide is like this open source protocol also, so you can hook up to non-official Aptoide stores.
Mhm.
So yes, there are some that are used for stolen software, right? Free paid software, but the main store is fully legit. It's just a copy. There are some F-Droid is another one which works in a similar way. F-Droid is actually completely open source. Aptoide has only the protocol open source. So there's a lot of alternatives inside that world, and special situation application that for some reason do not make the cut into the Google ecosystem or the Apple ecosystem, they can use systems like these. Now, keep in mind, to publish a piece of software on Apple and to publish a piece of software on the Play Store, the developer has to pay,
Mhm.
even if it's a free software. Even if it's software that will be distributed freely and without any, without any intention of making a profit, it's going to pay, you're going to need to pay.
Yep.
And so the alternatives, they make sense. And in Apple, there's no such system, no such way. They would claim, obviously, the claim would be security, but the reality is control, just complete control over and taking a cut of whatever's paid.
Well, as somebody that is totally locked into the iOS ecosystem for mobile, and I don't foresee myself switching anytime soon, something like this is very appealing to me. I mean, even Amazon's got a store that you can install on Android.
It's something's going to change because Apple is really sucking wind in when it comes to what they thought the growth would be on iPhones. Their pricing of these new iPhones is so bad that people are finally starting to push back. And when you do that, you open the market up for lower price competitors. If you look at what's out there, the Apple iPhone in and of itself technically is not any better than many of the other phones. I mean, it's just not. Even believe it or not, I know you don't believe it, but even batteries will swell, things will go wrong. It'll stop picking up the cellular network like mine does periodically. I mean, believe it or not, they actually do. I shouldn't be saying this. They actually do fail. And there are other phones out there who have equal or better than that failure rates. So that's going to happen. What's keeping Apple alive is the ecosystem, and that's why we use them, not because of the hardware, but because of the ecosystem, because of the various benefits that it has. But it's just a matter of time that until someone comes along and creates the same or better ecosystem, and then Apple's going to take a bath. There's no question about it. If you look around now, periodically, you will still see them starting to offer discounts on iPhone. Save $300 on your next purchase. They've got a problem. They've got a real problem. And I think they're providing a lot of technology that a lot of people don't want.
All right, Gal, you're talking about that Aptoid.
Yep.
That's not who put that up. You know, I mean, who's running it, sort of, so to speak.
As far
It's
as I
not
know, Aptoide is run by their own.
okay. Somebody could come and do the same thing with stuff for iOS, correct?
There is. It's called Cydia.
Cydia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
But
you need to jailbreak the machine first. You need to avoid your warranty.
Yeah.
In order to do that.
Oh,
And And jailbreaking used to be much more common back in the iPhone 4 and 3G. I remember my iPhone
Yeah.
3G was jailbroken because if you remember, there were the days of when you couldn't set your own wallpaper on the home screen of the iPhone. It was just black. You could not set it. And so I was in middle school at the time and I said, "Oh, screw this. I want a wallpaper on my phone." So I had to jailbreak my iPhone to put a wallpaper on. But now it's a lot less common because some of the things that you used to have to jailbreak for don't exist. But yeah, jailbreaking is still. I don't know. I don't know if people are still jailbreaking on iOS Go. I'm sure some people are, but it's definitely not what it used to be.
Let's put it this way.
Oh.
If you're a kid and you're a techie, you're probably jailbreaking just because you can.
Yeah,
I mean, that was me,
yeah,
right?
that was me too.
I don't jailbreak. I don't root my Android phones anymore, mainly because I use the phone for work, and if it's rooted, I can't. Right? It won't. The system uh, that that the work that my IT department at work installs detects the root and says, no, you can't use this for work. So I stopped rooting my phones and playing with alternative ROMs and all of that. But that scene still exists.
Definitely on the Android side, they're all into that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think it exists also on the
That's
the
true.
iOS.
all right. So Nick, as far as you know, is let's say Alex Jones on that Aptoid or on that Cydia or any other? I mean, if
Probably on Aptoid. I'm not sure what Cydia's marketplace looks like.
because when somebody's trying to get people to get their app, I mean, you put it anywhere you can. When you
Yeah.
try to sell something, you don't just sell it through one store. You put it everywhere, all over the country. So people, when they walk into any kind of store, they can see it, the better. So I would think that all these people that were banned should should do that.
I'm sure a lot of
It,
them are.
well, okay, so then good. So you were always talking about that. Gab, you can't use Gab because they don't have the app.
They don't.
So now and so if you could get it from the app, or you have an iPhone.
Yeah, I can't get the app.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
could get the app, I'd be fine, but
yeah,
I can't.
yeah.
I'm not going to deal with the nonsense, as Gall said, of on the iOS side. If you
Yeah,
jailbreak your phone
yeah, yeah.
and you have a problem, like even Spence's problem, battery, whatchamacallit, battery swelling, you're SOL, because once you install that third party firmware, which is what I mean, it's a third party OS is what the jailbreak is.
Right.
You're 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 up the creek. I mean, you're
So
done. They're not going to support the phone. Doesn't matter what the problem is.
so Apple could, with a little change to the code, to the operating system of the phone, allow other app stores, allow the phone to download from other app stores.
Of
Absolutely.
It's
course,
because
yeah.
they prohibit it.
Correct. They're trying to control the
Right.
marketplace.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Cydia, the big thing with Cydia was back in the days when Cydia was, not that Cydia is not popular now, but back when this stuff was, more people were doing this stuff, there was a lot of, this was in the early 2010s, mid 2010s. There were lots of paid applications on
Mhm.
iOS, and a lot of people were jailbreaking just to get the applications for free. There were plenty of $2.99 and $3.99 apps, and you could jailbreak and get Cydia. And these people were cracking almost all of the top paid apps, and a lot of them were games back in, called 2011. So that was one of the big reasons that a lot of people did it.
So that was the reason why they set it up, not because it was an alternative for applications that Apple will not allow, quote unquote, into the App Store. It was actually to circumvent the charge. That's why
I'm
it
not-
was set up?
That's part of it.
I don't know why it was created. I mean, I don't have the answer to that, but I can tell you as a user,
Mhm.
that's why I installed it.
Okay.
I mean, at the time I was in middle school. I didn't have $3.99 for apps every time I wanted an app.
And
So that's what I did. I installed Cydia and jailbroke the phone and had a live wallpaper and all that, all things that you was able to change the home screen look, all things that you couldn't do on iOS back then.
that's when the iPhone was $500.
No, it used to be, what was the carrier package that they used to offer?
I don't
$199 and a 2-year contract. I'm being serious. That's how much the phone was.
Yeah.
Was it $199 or $99? I don't remember, but that was
Uh-huh.
the price of the phone, and then the just a 2-year agreement.
So, Gal, that Aptoid, is that the
Yep.
same situation? That it's to circumvent charges, or is it to circumvent, "Oh, you're not
No,
gonna let it."
usually it's to allow applications that you cannot find
Okay.
in the store.
Yeah.
F-Droid, which is also a free and open source software, has multiple uses because Aptoid is a monolithic. I was wrong. It's a monolithic store. You can't connect additional stores, but the F-Droid is basically a store with a protocol. And so the vanilla F-Droid, the regular one, that's mostly to distribute open source application for free without having to pay anyone. Not pay the Google Play ecosystem just to host the application.
Mhm.
And the other aspect is application that cannot be found in the
And
in
the
the
Google.
Play Store.
Yeah.
So somebody like Gab, they'll have a place, a sort of store where they'll do that. I think Aptoid, I haven't. I know they have everything set up there. I just don't know whether anybody does it. I think Aptoid has the ability of selling you application the same way Google Play does.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah. So on F-Droid, I'm searching for Gab. I don't see it.
Interesting.
Yeah, so nobody went and tried doing that. So let's see.
Alright.
Interesting concept in
Absolutely.
general. Yeah.
Alright, Spence,
Um,
what?
you were talking about
Can we, is it
oh
about
yeah, it's time for the specials. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Spence, you ready to do specials? Spence?
You're muted, Spence.
Does that mean I should start if I'm ready? Or should I just wait here and look at the screen? All right. All right. So big news. We're ready to go aboard the Falcon 9 and get blasted into space. We're moving to a space-based platform. Yeah, Musk was being snarky here. He just said he wishes he could send us further than low Earth orbit. But
I need some oxygen.
yeah. And that's a prototype of the station we'll be living on there in the picture. The little red one. It's got a nice size satellite dish on it, though. All right. Well, there's nothing on sale today, so that's the end of the special. Sorry.
Okay.
But every week it gets a little more challenging the way they don't dramatically rearrange the ads, but sometimes they do things to make it harder to find or to move them. Nick, he's gone. How did Nick do while I was gone?
He did fine.
Good. All right. So Windows 2K Now specials for May 19th, 2019. Starting with laptops at Best Buy, we've got an HP Pavilion 11.6-inch touchscreen laptop, Intel Pentium. Now, this is granted, it's an entry-level machine, but it is a nice form factor, 11.6, depending on what you're going to do. Touchscreen, you flip it over, convertible. $349, $50 off. Office Depot has a Lenovo IdeaPad 17.3-inch with an AMD Ryzen 5. It's an 8 gig of memory, 1 terabyte drive for $399, which is a $170 off. Good multimedia machine, I would guess, if you want to do, watch things on that screen. That's a nice big screen. Tough hauling around. You might want to hire somebody to carry for you. Staples has a HP i3 14-inch laptop for $369, which is $110 off. Desktops, all-in-ones. Best Buy has a Lenovo small form factor AMD A9 desktop. This is an entry-level machine, $299, 60 off. Office Depot has a Lenovo Idea Center 23.8-inch all-in-one for $469. It's $180 off, and that's got a Ryzen 3 8 gig, 1 terabyte disk drive. Staples has an HP all-in-one desktop 24-inch. Well, it's really 23.8. That's the standard size. i3 8 gig, 1 terabyte for $499, $120 off. Tablets. Best Buy has a Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.5-inch 32 gig tablet, $249, which is $80 off. Other colors are available. Office Depot has a entry-level touchscreen 11.6-inch Chromebook. It's got a MediaTek processor, 4 gig of memory, a 64 gig solid state, or actually, I wouldn't call it solid state drive, EMC drive. So this is not going to be a machine for downloading large files. This is definitely a take it with you on the go, check email, basic things like that. $279, 20 off. Staples has a Lenovo Flex 14-inch convertible Windows tablet laptop for $599. This is an i5 8 gig with a 256 gig solid state drive, $599, which is $200 off the regular price. Networking. Best Buy has the Linksys Velop dual band mesh system. This is a 3-pack, 1 base station, 2 satellites for $199, which is $80 off. The price of this stuff keeps coming down, which is nice. Office Depot. This is not not off their regular ad. Remember how if the circle around the brand or the retailer is a different color, it means it's not from their weekly ad. TP-Link AC 1900 high gain dual band wireless USB adapter. This is $69. The value of this is if you've got a PC in an area of your house that's got a weak signal, you can use this, which will give you not only a boost in gain, but is directional. So you can actually point it towards where your signal is. It can greatly solve low strength problems, but it's only going to work with one machine, obviously, the one you plug the USB into. But it can solve a problem if you got a desktop in a kid's room, in a bonus room, in a basement, whatever, and you want to have access, or even out in your yard. Say you have a place in your yard, in a garage where you want to get a Wi-Fi signal. You don't want to put a repeater or something out there. This is an inexpensive way that you can take something around with you.
Hooking it up to a Raspberry Pi that you want to stick.
Oh yeah. There you go. So good, versatile. I've had a couple of these in the past. The last one I used was designed for deployment with a residential wireless mesh system. They're actually giving all the subscribers a directional antenna. It was older Wi-Fi technology, but it was a gain antenna with a USB port that you could either just sit in a window, or there was a mounting bracket you could put it in a window and port it towards the closest mesh access point, and it worked quite well.
Hey, another use for that as well. It's an AC unit. So if you've got an older computer that's only got B, G, or N, get AC as well, which I didn't.
And this is an AC 1900, so it's I
Yeah.
would say it's a mid-level AC,
Yeah.
but it's pretty good. It's going to be, and you're going to take advantage of the 5 gigahertz band.
Yeah.
So nice. Okay. Staples has a Netgear R6400 100 NAS dual band wireless router. It's AC 1750. It's got 2 RJ11s on it. It's got voice ports, which is interesting. 2 NAS ports for connecting USB devices to it, and beamforming, which is a nice technology for high density, lots of interference. But I'm not sure what the requirements are for the on the adapter side to take advantage of beamforming. But
Nick,
they can use antenna technology and special filtering and algorithms to tune the signal to try to get around interference. Interference is kind of a dynamic thing. It comes and goes. It changes. If you ever watch the available Wi-Fi uh, hotspots on your phone, you see that this list is constantly changing and shifting. It's because it's always moving. I mean, just having a car drive by, someone walk past your uh, where you're set up can change the characteristics of Wi-Fi dramatically. So this gets around it by performing this beamforming technology. If you're interested in it, read up on it and see how Netgear deploys it. It's
and and
109, which is $20 off the regular price.
and I know it's not everybody needs it, but many of these have dual WAN also that you
Yeah,
just
as a
use.
backup. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you can either load share or you can have one as primary, one as backup, which
yeah.
is great. Yes. Yeah. I think they use the RJ11 what Amnon for modem backup.
What do you mean? No, they're
You can
using the
dial up backup. I used to have a dial up router.
yeah, for dial-up.
It was
That's
at
right.
4
Yeah,
ports. It was a hub, 4 ports of Ethernet and a dial up modem. And it would on demand, like you turn your PC on, connect to the Ethernet, and it would dial the modem
yeah.
to to dial out.
All right.
Hey, it worked
Yep.
in a shared environment. I put it in an apartment where my daughter was in school because they had 4 people living there, 4 rooms, and they shared the same phone line to dial out. So I said, how is this going to work? It was perfect. Well, this is
Yeah.
just gives you an idea how long ago it was when you're dialing up on a 56K modem. All right, storage. Western Digital Easy Store 8 gig external USB 3.0 drive is available at Best Buy for $139. That's 60 off. Office Depot has a SanDisk external portable solid state drive, a 500 gig drive for 109. Guys, tell me, what is the real advantage to having a solid state drive over a ruggedized portable hard drive? It's the fact that I can drop it
Yeah.
more. I mean, I struggle with why this is really a thing. And
Well,
most people,
there's also speed.
Nah,
well,
the speed is
not that much
the
difference.
bottleneck is gonna be the USB.
Yeah, yeah.
USB
Well,
3
if it's,
would be a
Yeah.
I
bottleneck. I
don't know
don't.
that it's 3. I don't know that it's 3. I didn't look at the description. But for the for the price you can get for $60 a 2 terabyte
Yeah.
disk, and here 109 for a 500 gig solid state drive. Now I understand it
Yeah,
might be
if you take
if
it
you're a base jumper and you want to record directly to your flash drive from something, and you need something that in case you crash into the mountain doesn't get destroyed. I understand, but
or if you take a USB drive with you, like, they used to make the small drives that were portable, not just external, but portable drives. There were better drives that you could
oh yeah, they
tap
were
them.
definitely made for the two
Yeah.
and a half inch
So
drives are made
yeah,
for
so
portable devices. So it's
these will
yeah,
work great in that. I mean, if you have a
yeah.
laptop that has 256 SSD, here you add another 500 when you take it around. So yeah.
Well, it's there
Yeah,
if you
it's
can
there.
have a specific. Now, this next device at Staples, this is an interesting device. This is a 32 gig USB stick. It has both the USB side and the Lightning side for uh, Apple devices, but it also, at the same time, it's plugged in, giving you that storage. It also charges. So this is pretty
Hmm.
cool. This is the first time I've seen this. Um, USB 3.0 dual lightning charger and USB memory stick. So it's a through device. You plug in on the USB side to your charger, to your wherever you're going, and then the lightning side plugs into the device. So I thought that was pretty cool. $24.99, which is 25 off. Accessories, Best Buy has a Logitech MK850. This is a high-end keyboard, wireless keyboard and mouse. Now, what makes this different is that it supports Bluetooth connections too. You see those 3 white buttons there, which lets you dynamically switch between 3 different devices. It could be Bluetooth connected. They could be connected using the little fob that you plug into the machine. But this is the second generation of their multi. We'll talk about that in a second. Actually, Staples has it on sale. Their original multi-use keyboard. 79 save 22. Office Depot has Logitech G300S optical gaming mouse, $29 save 10. And Staples has that first Logitech keyboard I was mentioning, the K780 wireless keyboard. This is actually this is the same generation. I take it back. Let me see. I thought I had it in here. I thought I had the other one somewhere. I'm looking at. Yeah, I do have it in the wait. But wait, there's more.
All right.
Okay, so I knew I wasn't losing my mind. So this is the same this is meant to be a portable device than a desktop device. It's a smaller keyboard, doesn't come with a mouse, but it still has those same 3 buttons. So if you're traveling and you want to have a keyboard to take with you that you could share between your tablet, your phone, and your laptop, here you go. This is $64.99, which is 15 off. Multimedia monitors. We have a 27-inch HP monitor at Best Buy for $179.99, 70 off. A 22-inch monitor for $89.99 at Office Depot for $89.99, 20 off, and a 27-inch monitor at Staples for $149, 50 off. Printers and scanners. Best Buy has Epson Workforce 3270 wireless all-in-one printer, $79, save 70. This is a good deal. It's not a whole lot of money off because this does not have a fax machine. If you don't need a fax machine, this is the kind of laser printer for an office I really like. Brother Laser DCP L2550DW means duplex and wireless printer scanner copier with a nice sheet feeder. I think it takes 30 something documents it will send through. It just doesn't have the fax machine. If you don't need it, okay. I used my fax machine once in the last 3 years. Is because I was trying to send a document somewhere and they kept saying they didn't get it over email, and I finally faxed it to them. And it was frustrating, but I needed my fax. But $99, 60 off for this printer. And it can get the high density or high capacity toner cartridge for this too. So you can go years and years and years with casual use before you actually have to change it.
Can you get the white one too?
The white cartridge, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That one never wears out.
Okay.
I can tell you, I can sell you an empty one. And it does the same thing. That's the high security one. So you never have to worry about anybody viewing any documents printed on the printer. So,
Joking aside, do you remember the inkjet? I don't remember the name, but they had white ink you could print on black pages.
really? Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, I
yeah.
never saw that.
Lexmark.
That's interesting.
Lexmark used to make them.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Very highly specialized.
Oh yeah, yeah. They had also gold ink and stuff like that, so you could do like really, really
Oh
nifty
boy.
things. That's when inkjet just came out.
Trying to find a market that wasn't there.
Yep.
Okay, Staples has a HP Envy 7855. Their Envy series is designed for high quality printing. It does go through ink. I had one, but if you want to print from photo size up to, and I didn't check. I apologize. I didn't check. I don't think this is 11 by 17, but they do make a good series of printers. Just make sure you have cartridges available for it, and that you use it on a regular basis and don't let it sit. Make sure you keep it plugged in and turned on because it does have a cycle it will automatically go through to prevent the cartridges from drying out. So 129 save $100. So this is the high end one. I think this has a multi-sheet scanner built in. All in one with fax. So there you go. It is a fax machine also. So good one to have laying around for casual use in case you need a fax to send. Home automation and security, TP-Link Casa Wi-Fi smart plug, at Best Buy for $17.99. That's 5 off the regular price. Office Depot has not on their regular ad, but they do have a sale on the Nest Learning thermostat, third generation, $199. That's $50 off. Staples has the TP-Link Casa Smart Light. This is the multicolor bulb for $29.99, save 10. Fry's has a 350K VA APC battery backup for $59, was 94. They have a 650 APC for $69, which was $5.99 off. Got a interesting. I like this drone, the Sparrow. I've never used it. When I say I like it, I like the fact that it's got a nice cage. I know it adds weight, but the cage makes it uh, unusually safe to use, especially if you're using it around people close in. That you're not going to give somebody send somebody to the store to get stitch or to the hospital to get stitches from the blade. But $49 and 29 with a promo code. They've got the Sabrent 7-port USB 3.0 hub and with 2 charging ports for $29.49. That's $5.50 off. 8 gig swivel or swing USB 2.0 flash drive. Amnon, you have to choose. Do you want a swivel or swing?
Unbelievable.
You have to decide now. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't continue until you tell me.
Swing.
Swing. Okay. All right.
Swing.
Good. All right. There we go. $249. 8 gig drives was $699. And now, if anybody ever tells you to grow a pair, here's your chance. You can get 2 for $4. Balls. Right there. I'm not. This is the. I didn't make this up. This is what was in their ad today.
Sign me up.
Right? I mean, think about it. You can have some in your closet as for spares. It's like it's great.
We should
Right?
send some of these to some politicians. I think
That's
that'd be great.
it. That's it. We buy a case and we send it to Washington.
Yeah, I think.
Oh
this
my
would be good.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Secret
I
Service.
look
Cherry
at that.
flavored balls. Okay.
I looked at this. And said, is this a parody?
Where was this at?
This is in Rise in their
Jesus.
weekly ad. I seriously went back and said, wait a second. Did I go into the parody section? Yeah, it's good though. It's great.
When you task the college intern with making your weekly sale ad, this is this is the result.
On his last day.
Yeah, seriously.
That's great. All right. So a couple of, but wait, there's more. Staples has 2 items. Brother P-Touch Cube desktop label printer. This is a very specialized device, but if you do print labels and you'd like to do it directly from your computer instead of one of those little label makers, $39, save 20. This is that Logitech keyboard I mentioned, their first generation Bluetooth multi-device keyboard. The yellow band there is actually a holder for phones and tablets. So for traveling, you can connect to your laptop, to your multiple devices. $27.99. This was very expensive when it first came out. Regular price is $50. You're looking for something like this. Office Depot has a WD portable hard drive, 4 terabytes for $109, USB 3.0. They also have the Adobe Photoshop Elements Premiere for $99, save $50. I don't normally talk about software. I do know that this is very popular with people. It's kind of the entry-level Photoshop application. For when they say Elements, they mean, well, it's just Elements and Premiere. I wonder at what point the functionality starts to differ from the high-end one. But hey, $99.
It's Photoshop Elements and Premiere Elements.
Oh,
Premiere is
so
the
it's
video.
Premiere video editing.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So this is both actually. So that's not too bad. If you, I mean, it does have a little bit of a learning curve if you've never used this stuff before, especially linear editing and so on. But it's Photoshop. It's the it's kind of standard for low to mid level casual use. So okay, Best Buy has the Logitech C922 Pro Stream webcam, $79. This is 20 off. They have Oculus Rift S PC powered VR gaming headset in black, $399. I don't know if this is a good price.
It's it's the price, and we're getting that on Wednesday. So I'll.
All right.
Yeah,
So
my son got it as a birthday present, and I'm very excited about his birthday present.
Hey, all right. I like the fact that you don't have to, go with one of the ones that you had to snap your smartphone into, which has always seemed to be clumsy to me.
Yeah, I
Uh,
tried those. It's nice, but
yeah, it's
it's
okay.
far from perfect. The nice thing about wait, this is the Oculus, yeah, the Rift S. So the
Yeah.
nice thing about this new Rift S is the previous one you had to have external sensors that watch you while you're with the helmet. In the image, you can actually see there's like these holes in it.
Mhm.
It has like 5 or 8 cameras looking out, and so it knows
Oh,
where your controllers are. And so the only thing that you need to get hooked up is just the headset, and so the room setup is a lot easier.
neat.
That's one big advantage. The other, because of these cameras, when you put it on your face, then it shows you the room projected on the screen that you're looking at. So you're not blind when it's on your
Well, that's
when it's on
great.
your face.
What do they call that when it's fully immersive, where you can have the
Augmented reality.
augmented reality? That's
Yeah,
it.
they
So
can
yeah,
deal with that as well now. Yeah,
that's very good. For the
yeah,
price, it sounds great.
yep.
Yeah. And finally, at Fry's, they have a couple of interesting things. They've got a universal stand for tablets, tablet type like devices, phones for $24.99. There's 5 off. It's up to 12.9-inch tablets. Nice sturdy base is what I liked about this. It's not a clamp on. It's a desktop device. You can move it around very easily if you have the space to put it. And finally, at first, this doesn't look like a great price because it's $199, but it's just the Apple 4K Apple TV with 64 gig of memory. It's actually 154 with the promo code, which puts it in line with most sales out there. So that's it for today for Computers 2K Now specials. Don't forget to order your case of balls. So you have plenty in stock. So if you get uh, taken advantage of and you're cowering in the corner, you can always reload. All right. So guys, don't forget you got to be down at the spaceport in Florida on Thursday. Is when we're taking off. Elon Musk is going to be there with the button to send us into space.
I think Amnon's got a Windows update he's got to do that day. So
Oh,
yeah, I think
Yeah, I
he'll be
can.
Well, did you see
delayed.
the reason why they were going to launch their communication satellite with all the tiny satellites in it? Why they didn't send it up?
Please don't tell me. Was it an update?
Firmware updates for the satellites.
That's pretty funny.
They were delaying it because of launch window issues, and then now the delay is, we loaded all those satellites, tiny, tightly packed, into the cowling of the rocket, and oops, we need a firmware update.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Well, a good thing I did it now instead of did it when it's in orbit. Just think of the roaming charges, Amnon, to update all those satellites. That'd be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's nothing is going to be the problem with last minute firmware updates.
No.
Yeah, something else going on.
Amnon's wondering how many CDNs he can stream to from space. That is a big concern
Yeah.
of his.
You got to take all these things
think-
into
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
considerations. Come on.
What?
You got to take all these things into considerations. You got to know what.
That's right.
Yes.
This
Hey,
is like-
I've got something else. What Spence was talking about video editors. The Humble Bundle, which is typically a game service bundle, has actually got a video editor suite on sale as well. It's Vegas Pro Edit, which is their kind of washed down version of Sony Vegas Pro, is on sale, as well as their DVD maker software called Vegas DVD Architect, and a couple of other audio programs for $25. And part of it goes towards some charities too. So I post a link in chat if anybody's interested.
And talking about Photoshop and all the package, Adobe Creative Cloud subscribers who haven't updated their apps in a while may want to check their inboxes. The software company has sent out emails to customers warning them of being at risk of potential claims of infringement by third parties if they continue using outdated version of CC apps, including Photoshop and Lightroom. I thought the whole idea behind that cloud was that you don't need to upgrade. I mean, it's there. You pay like a rental thing. You pay by the month, and all the
Yeah,
latest one.
but you install software on your end. So if you don't approve the upgrade, then you're left behind. So
Oh,
you're renting, but you also need to comply.
okay. All right. Interesting. And there's something else about HP in the news.
Uh-oh.
What?
When you say HP in the news, it's never
Yeah,
that's
HP in
never
the
a good
news.
thing.
Hewlett Packard Enterprise will be buying the supercomputer maker Cray for
20
roughly
years too late.
well, for roughly $1.3 billion. The company said last week, intending to use Cray's knowledge and technology to bolster their own supercomputing and high performance computing technologies. When the
have
deal
that?
closes, HPE will become the world leader for supercomputing technology once they do that.
I was not
1.3
sure that HP even had supercomputing technology other than massive arrays of processors.
I mean, Spence, it was a special last week. HP supercomputer on sale for $299 at
I didn't
at
realize.
Staples. Yeah, you
Okay.
missed out on it.
Did you
It was
pick up a
it was
couple?
good yeah, it was a good price.
Okay.
AMD Athlon X3. It's great.
That's
Great.
interesting. Cray. I mean, I haven't heard the word in years.
What is Cray? I'm not familiar with them.
Cray is the supercomputer.
Yeah, the first one, the round design was to shorten the distance between the elements of the processor. They were the very, I forget what his first name was, but Cray was the scientist that developed this technology, was literally the first one out there with the supercomputer. It
Huh.
was used for scientific calculations.
Hey,
But
we used to
they were
say-
the name for a long time.
we used to say, what do you
Yeah.
think I have, a Cray? You know, it was a thing.
Interesting. Well, then, yeah, I guess then why would HP be buying them now?
I don't know. I mean, apparently they still are the top end of supercomputing, and
Hmm.
HP sees something. You know, I hope you don't go around spending 1.3 billion, not knowing what you're doing. I don't know.
Got a lot of money.
Unfortunately, I've seen that happen multiple times. I don't know.
How
I
much
don't
did
know.
Yahoo spend on Tumblr? I mean,
Hmm.
hundreds of millions of dollars on that.
Yeah.
And Flickr and all the rest of them.
So I know, Nick, you like to go to Walmart.
I mean,
Walmart will now offer shoppers the options to have their online orders delivered the next day, following Amazon's recently announced plans to spend $800 million for one-day delivery for all Amazon Prime members. Walmart said Tuesday it is rolling out next-day delivery in Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Southern California over the next few days, and will expand it to reach roughly 75% of American consumers by the end of 2019, including 40 of the 50 major metros. Amazon hasn't yet detailed a timeline for its own rollout of next day shipping. But even before its April announcement, the company had offered same day and 2-hour delivery for Prime members in certain markets. For certain products and at an additional cost. Amazon next day shipping plan expands the number of items and zip codes eligible for expedited service. I don't know how they can compete with Walmart, Walmart has multiple stores in almost every
Absolutely.
city.
Yeah.
They
Walmart,
don't have a
this is easy.
distribution. Yeah, for them. It's easy, just have a couple of guys with vans sitting there. Say, hey, take this over there, take this over there. Yeah, the money now.
Well, the key thing though is to make something like this possible is you want to talk about where does big data get used and purchased. This is exactly where big data comes into use, is when Walmart has to figure out what and where they need to stock products.
Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly why why data farming and whatnot is worth so much, because they need to figure out now what Walmart super centers do they need to have sunscreen or whatever people are ordering, depending on the locale of the store. But yeah, this is a lot. This seems like it'd be a lot easier for Walmart than Amazon. I mean, they've already got the hard part. They've got damn stores everywhere.
And they don't charge $120 a year.
That's true. I mean, they're making a serious. I have yet to buy anything on Walmart online, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll do something this week.
Where
Oh,
else can you find a big box retailer that provides entertainment at the same time?
Let me tell you something. Nobody beats Walmart's prices for oil, in car engine oil, transmission fluid, and I always buy it online.
Additives, yes, they're very, very good. I buy oil and filters there. Much cheaper than, unless you get an ad in an auto parts store, they're much cheaper.
Are you buying it from Walmart, Amnon, or
Yeah.
are you buying it from somebody else?
No, I'm buying it from Walmart.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't. The last thing I bought from Walmart was or shipped from Walmart.
A
I
ship?
don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. It was it was a video game console or something. I don't remember. But it was been a while.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
just don't
just
think about it.
a quick note to close out talking about Cray.
Yeah.
Very interesting that they were into 2009. They were declared the world's fastest supercomputer, and with the Cray 2009 Cray XT5 at Oak Ridge Laboratories, and they have been acquired over the years. They were around. They built all kinds of systems. They went national, then they went international, and lots of things have happened over time. They were bought by Silicon Graphics at one point, and then merged with another company that went back to the Cray name, but they've continued to grow. I haven't seen much past that 2009 reporting on their status, but the technology's still there. It was Seymour Cray was the founder of the company. He died at age 71 in 1996 after injuries from a car accident.
Ouch.
Huh? Great. Yep. All right. Now there's a little story here that we don't like kind of to hear. Kind of danger. Will Robinson. Todd Hazelton has discovered that Google saves years of information on the purchases you've made, even outside Google.
Yep.
And pulls this information from Gmail. A page called Purchases shows an accurate list of many, though not all, of the things I've bought dating back to at least 2012. I made these purchases using online services or apps such as Amazon, DoorDash, or Seamless, or in stores such as Macy's, but never directly through Google. But because the digital receipts went to my Gmail account, Google has a list of info about my buying habits. Google even knows about things I long forgot I purchased, like dress shoes I bought inside a Macy's store on September 2015. I mean, so they have all that information and they keep it.
Well,
They were
I
talking
mean,
about that it's easy to take out, and they said that they tried and they couldn't.
And where do you find it?
what?
Apparently, there's a page called Purchases on your Gmail.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you
And
this
it's
though,
like
Let's
I'm
check
sure
it out.
I'm sure Apple's doing the same thing, because when you book a flight, so I'm going out to Seattle here in a couple months, and I purchased a flight through Delta, and it got sent to the mail application on my phone, and then lo and behold, to me, it's on my calendar now.
jeez. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, of course they're doing that. And it's my Apple calendar, not my Gmail calendar, because it did come through Gmail's email service, but it is on my iPhone, Apple, or my local calendar, my local iPhone calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, of course they're doing this. I mean, yeah, our friend Sean talked about this a couple days ago, Amnon, when we were chatting about this.
well, guys, my purchases page is empty.
Well, you start buying. You're not being
I'm
a good
buying.
slave.
I'm
You're not being a
buying.
good slave to the the Google ecosystem. Buy.
No, I'm
Alright.
buying. I
Alright,
actually
Gal.
bought stuff, but it's empty.
How do you get to it?
Just type Google purchases and make sure you're logged in. That's all.
From
Google.
what? In the search, your mail search?
No,
Or
it's part of the account.
so go to
So
your account page. All
you
right.
can go to your account and find it. But if you type Google purchases in Google, the first page is that. So
Okay, I got it.
my
Oh,
account.
wow. Hmm.
Really, it's empty for me.
Say again how to get there.
Go to your
I'm
Google
posting
account.
the link. Yeah, it's in chat.
In email, just click on your icon, go to my account, and then type in purchases at the top on the search. It'll take you to it.
What are you guys doing differently than me? And trust me, I let Google see everything.
Are you into the right Google account?
Yeah, my
I can
Google account.
see. I can see the Chinese I ordered a couple days ago. It's on here. Oh my god.
Gal, give me your credit card number. I'll buy something, and we'll see if it shows up.
It's only certain things though I'm noticing. So a lot of the stuff on here I see is from a service called one of those meal delivery services.
Neighborhood girls.
Other than that, all it's interesting. The only thing that's on here is like food deliveries, and that's about it. I don't see anything else on here.
Mine has.
I know why mine is empty.
Because you don't order food
no,
online.
I'm not a Google user. I'm Google for applications.
Oh yeah.
My shkonlik.com domain is managed by Google. It used to be free way by past. So I'm guessing it'll happen, or I need to, as an admin, I probably need to switch it on for the domain. I'm safe.
It's
They know
interesting
it,
how
but they're not sharing it with me. That's all.
I bought a large black premium T-shirt August of 2016. I have no idea why, where I would have purchased that from.
mine goes back to one entry in 2017, and then just 10 things this year, which were all purchased on Amazon.
Mine goes back to May 2014.
Oof.
I don't use
one in
Gmail.
2015, and the rest starting in January 2016.
Yeah, I'm going to go look at one of my other Gmail accounts.
Is that really that surprising that they're doing that though?
No, it's not
I mean, you gave them
surprising that
permission
they
to
do it. It's surprising. I mean, they do anything to collect data, but it's surprising that they have all that, and they, now
This is the.
I love it that they share it with us. Come on, instead of just keeping it for themselves.
But this
We
is
at
the
least
kind
have
of
some value from it.
this is the kind of big data that companies like Walmart are
Yep.
interested in.
Yep.
I mean, this is exactly it.
Actually, they're not in total calendar order.
I don't have that many purchases.
They didn't put the time into it. They don't care about the order. All they care of what it is.
If you click on it, you'll see the whole thing.
Yeah, it
There
shows
is
the
a-
delivery
there is
address
a-
and everything.
I checked another email address, and I have a lot more in that one. But at the end of each purchase, if you click on it, it says remove purchase.
Yeah.
And can you
Why a
try to
purchase
remove?
I made at Amazon should be captured by Google.
Because it came through your Gmail.
No, it didn't.
If your Gmail, if your
No,
email,
the receipt got back to your Gmail account. No.
if you registered on Amazon with your Gmail email address,
Did not.
Well, I get
It's got to be getting into your Gmail address.
Yeah,
Gmail.
It
somehow.
probably is. I just have to see which account it is.
Yeah.
You know what's weird here? I know it's not it's picking it up because I have my Home Depot receipts sent to this email address. Those are the ones it's documenting, not
Yep.
online
Yeah.
purchases. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I got my haircut yesterday, and I had them email my receipt because I don't want one, and it's in my Google's
Yep.
purchases.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what it's doing. It's keeping track of that stuff.
You make it sound really useful. They're keeping track.
It's not useful. I mean, here's the thing. Of course, they're
Well,
keeping
it is
track.
useful.
I mean,
Let's talk about the usefulness, because before we bash them, let's talk about the usefulness here.
Yeah, now Nick
Because
found out.
I'm pretty sure you can switch it off, right? I mean, they probably shouldn't have switched it on by default,
I disagree.
but the fact that it's there, it's fantastic.
You're using a free email service provided by Google, and the only reason that it's free is so they can do stuff like this and sell it to other companies. I mean,
But they give it to you. That
Of
is
course
the
they do.
important. No, don't say of course they do. You can't get that information from Facebook. You can't get that information from other identity suppliers, right?
Yeah.
Twitter won't let you know what they know about you.
it's true.
Google lets you know what they know about you. And I think that is fantastic.
Some of it.
Of course, some of it. Every time they reveal something new, every time they build some additional system to show you more of what they know about you.
So are you saying that you knew about this?
About purchases specifically, no. As I told you, mine is empty because I don't get that service. But it's
Let's see who's
when you work
calling.
with Gmail. When you work with Gmail, right? If you book a flight, for example, today, you get the flight information on the top of the email in a very, very pre-formatted way.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. So yeah, it's not surprising to me that they do it. The surprise to me was, oh, cool, I can see it too. The moment they do something like that, it's clear that they are also collecting the information in some way to give you the ads they want you to see, right? It's always a commerce thing. But yeah, I think it's cool, and the best thing about it is nobody's forcing us to use Gmail, right?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, there's no. It's not a big deal. That's what I'm saying.
Let's see who we have online. Morning.
Good morning. This is Gene.
Hey, Gene.
Hey, I have nothing in my account, and I know why. Because I've got a very special email provider called Delta Force. I don't have a Gmail.
You want me to show you all the stuff that you bought in the last?
Amnon can. He's got that data. You're no better than Google, Amnon.
I don't use Google either. I use Bing.
Oh boy! Can you imagine?
Yep.
Can you imagine what Microsoft knows about us just by the fact we're using Windows?
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Well, think about you're worried about what? Think about what your ISP knows about you, Gal. Way more than Windows. They see every freaking packet that goes in and out of your network.
Yeah, if they want to look at it, and I mean, if I wanted to look at it and I keep record and record it, then yeah.
Yeah, knowing how internally, right, these ISPs work, and I'm not necessarily talking about a smaller ISP like Delta Force. I'm talking like the huge ones. It's totally a mess. They have no idea what they have. So
true.
I'm not worried there.
They're not out to get that data. I mean, they're there to provide a different service than Google does. Now, if Spectrum started to provide any kind of searches or anything other than just service, then they would do that.
Yeah. They still have track of every DNS request.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, they do, and that's it's not simple.
And that's the first thing you do to circumvent. You use another DNS service anyway, because theirs isn't.
What else is going on, Gene?
Well, not much. I am very happy that Windows 10 has stopped those updates. You know, where you didn't even going on and messing up your computer. That's been nice. Let's see what else is going on. Not much else.
No.
Everything seems to be fine.
All right.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right, Gene. Take it easy. Thanks for calling.
Right up. Bye bye.
That's it's something. Yeah, it can be done, but
So here's the question: is this a big enough issue that anybody would contemplate switching mail providers?
no.
Well, no, I'm asking the group
No.
here. Is this a big enough problem for anybody that they would look at switching providers? And now, obviously,
To
it's a lot
another
easier
free
said-
provider? No.
Well, okay, well, I mean,
To self-hosting one, maybe. But then you'll need to go through the technical hassle of setting up your own mail server.
correct.
I mean, if you're worried about this,
Give Amnon a call.
then what you can do is you can, but it takes some work. You have to go to all these Amazon and all the other vendors that you use and change your email address to the email address that your provider gave you. So the one like Nick or Amnon at nc.rr.com or whatever.
Yeah.
And then keep using Google for your regular mail, not for the purchase, not for the receipts and for that information.
But you
Then
make a great point.
you have the best of both worlds if you're worried about it. I mean,
Yeah, actually, I forgot about Spectrum's email or
But
our runner's email.
But the 2 megabyte mailbox they give me isn't enough.
Oh, it's way bigger than that
that's
now.
more than enough.
I know.
Used to be
I know,
20
so-
megs.
Yeah, I think it's 200 or 1
Yeah,
gig or
whatever
something
it
like
is.
that,
I
but
mean, this is
it's
stuff
ridiculous.
that
Yeah.
you can.
That's still my primary email address, or my original primary email address. I still use it for a whole bunch of logins.
Yeah.
I don't
thought-
check the email address.
Email address and not telling anybody.
What'd you say?
I've thought about changing my email address and not telling anybody.
Well, how am I going to get in touch with you?
That's the
There you
whole.
go.
Oh my God, no. So this is it. I'll call Google and ask them where you are.
Oh no.
They'll be able to tell me. Hi, I'd like to find my friend Mike. Can you tell me where he is?
Now, if you have an Alexa, Amazon is rolling out an update to Alexa that will
She
turn
whispers
the
back.
huh?
She whispers back. So
Yeah, I know. Will turn the company's line of smart home products into home security devices
I saw this.
while the user is out. Call Alexa Guard. The feature will have your smart speakers listen for key sounds, including
Ah.
breaking glass and smoke and carbon monoxide alarm. If the Echo hears the noise, it will send you an alert coupled with an audio recording of the noise.
Oh yeah.
So now they are covering their asses for people saying, they always listen to what we say. Yep, that's why we listen.
They also just acquired a security service called Blink.
In a blink of an eye.
Well, I don't know if they acquired it or if it's theirs, but I've
I don't
heard a lot of ads on talk radio the past 2 or 3 weeks for a new service called Blink by Amazon. Let's see.
well, they do have already the Amazon key. You know that? What
The-
that does?
Key?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Amazon key is you buy a smart key that the Echo can hook up to,
Mhm.
and you buy a camera. I think you need to buy their camera. You point the camera at the door.
Oh, to open the, yeah.
Yeah, and then when a delivery comes in, you either by your approval or by a set of procedures, the Amazon delivery person punch something, can open the door while everything is recorded, puts the package, closes the door, and it's locked again.
You know, I have a problem with Amazon deliveries.
Oh.
They never knock on the door.
That's UPS.
No, UPS
Oh, yeah,
does.
your stuff actually gets delivered by Amazon.
Yeah.
Lucky.
They just come in and they put it right by the door on the ground outside, and it walks away. I mean, I see him on the camera.
But they take a picture of it and they send you the picture to tell you that it's there.
Amazon doesn't use a cell phone, so the whole text
Oh.
message notification system is useless.
Yeah, I get when Amazon delivers to my porch, I get a text message that it's there, and I
Yeah.
get a picture of it. On
I
my
get it
porch.
a couple of hours later, an
Hmm.
email that, hey, it was delivered.
Why don't you put a have you thought about putting a sign outside that just says "Please knock"?
No, I mean, on the front door, I put the little sign down there. It says, hey, don't leave it here on the side door, please. I don't
Do
know
they
if
leave it.
yeah, they do. They used to leave it on the front porch.
Yeah.
That steps, and we never check there. And sometimes the package will sit there for a few days. So yeah, we don't get those anymore. Not that I know of. Maybe they get stolen. I don't know.
I was gonna say, if you're looking to steal something, go to Amnon's house, and his packages are sitting on the front step for 3 days.
Let's see what else here is real quick. Boost. If you have Boost mobile of your cell phone, they're informing customers of data breach nearly 2 months after it happened. And you need to get in touch and find out. I mean, they change keys. I mean, PIN codes. People got PIN codes. They don't know how people got the PIN codes. And talking again about going to Linux from Windows, with just 7 more months of support left for Windows 7, the South Korean government is planning to migrate to Linux, according to the Korean Herald, which notes that the Interior Ministry will begin test running Linux on its PCs, and if no security issues arise, Linux systems will be introduced more widely within the government. They are quoting the Interior Ministry as indicating that the transition to Linux and the purchase of new PCs would cost about 780 billion won, which is 655 million, but also anticipates long-term cost reductions with the adoption of Linux. They don't mention, the report doesn't mention specific distribution. Instead, hopes to avoid building reliance on a single operating system.
What?
Before the
Never mind. Sorry.
before the government-wide adoption, the ministry said it would test if the system could be run on private network devices without security risks, and if compatibility could be achieved with existing websites and software. So,
Did you say reliance on a single operating system?
well, I think they're talking about single distribution. I don't know
Okay,
how
yeah,
they can do that.
Yeah,
You
I
have
was
to
gonna say that
stay.
doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Hmm.
So we'll see. Or maybe they mean that they want to have Windows and I don't know.
Well, basically, they're taking the Chinese route. The Chinese government did that. What, end of the 90s or beginning of 2000s?
Yeah.
They switched to their own distribution of Linux.
Yeah.
They basically maintain
Russia
their
too.
own. Russia, I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know why these countries are first to do these things and say,
No, because they're concerned that the Microsoft, which would be giving information to the United States about the things that they're not supposed to be doing, which
Yeah.
is a very good concern. They should be switching if they're trying to keep things secret.
and we
which is-
should too.
Well, except Microsoft's our company, so
Yeah.
not that big of a deal, I guess.
All right. Well, it's that time of day again. Anything else anybody wants to add here? Mention? Talk about?
Lose their minds over Game of Thrones tonight.
Ah,
Some people have already lost their minds, and it's amusing to me. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I enjoy the show. I'm not that emotionally attached to
Oh, I
the
talk to
outcome.
people who are very emotionally attached,
Yeah,
and after the last episode. Well, I'm not watching it anymore.
don't watch it.
Is this the season finale or the series finale or what?
Series finale
Series
tonight.
finale.
Yeah,
The series finale's tonight?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
and the
Did you all-
criticism is that they opted to go with only 6 episodes this year, and there's all kinds of talk about why. Was it HBO that forced them to end it early? Was it the writers that decided to do something else? So there's all kinds of accusations going back and forth about how the two showrunners got a deal to work for something else and just wanted to get out as fast as possible. It's just really
Yeah, that
it's just,
Fast and Possible took them about 2.5 years.
yeah.
So it's all
But you read the
Yeah.
comments, you
The-
would think that they really set a bunch of people on fire. So
Yeah.
Did you see the series finale of Big Bang?
no.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
they
good.
ended the show?
That was Thursday night.
Don't give away any.
No, I'm not.
they all die. Oh no, that's not that type of show.
One of the best tongue-in-cheek suggestions was that Game of Thrones will end and it will be Ned Stark will wake up and like, oh, I'm not going to go to King's Landing anyway now, and that would be it. He was dreaming it.
Boy, that would really piss a lot of people off. That would be a terrible.
That's
I
the
know.
That would be a Lost type of
It
ending.
very much like a loss.
oh yeah, that goes back to help me guys. Who was the the comedian that always did the telephone bits? Oh gosh, what was his name? Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart ended
Oh.
his one of his comedy shows, the one about the I don't remember which one it was, but he
Yeah.
ended it where he woke up in bed.
The one where he was in the inn.
In the end, he woke up in bed and he's like, "Oh, that was all a big dream." And he turns over and looks at his wife, and it's his wife from the prior series he was on.
Probably the best series ender. In
Oh my gosh, it was hysterical.
It split my sides laughing
It
at
was
it.
so good. Yeah, it was Suzanne Plachette because he had
Yeah.
been in another series as a psychiatrist or a psychologist prior to that, and had a great run with both shows. Very well received, funny, and yeah, it was so good.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that.
When's the season finale of Computers 2K Now? What are we gonna do?
With
It was
this-
all a joke the whole time.
The season
CIA trying to control you.
We're all just AI, and it's an experiment.
Ah, very good idea. Yes.
Max
Microsoft
Headroom.
AI. Yep.
Mm.
Anyhow. So I guess that's it, huh?
All she wrote.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, Spence, Nick, Gal, Mike. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everyone, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And tonight at 7, Nick hosts Against the Norm, right, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Live.
Yep.
And at 9, Mike Phillips hosts the Crypto Culture Show. Both these shows are on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, and you can listen on TuneIn. The link is in the links on the left in the nav bar. See you next week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety. or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.